Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Ripple continues to be an amazing cheerleader for the XRP ecosystem, which should come at no surprise, given that they are the largest stakeholder on the planet of XRP. And I'm not complaining, I actually happen to be a fan of this. Now, the more useful the XRP ledger is, the greater the adoption of XRP as crypto markets mature. Confidence in the XRP ledger will, over time, increase investment in XRP itself. It's the native asset of the ledger, of course. And so there will always be new people looking to diversify further into crypto. And if the XRP ledger is extremely useful and looks like it won't be going away anytime soon, if ever, I believe more people will buy XRP. And so this is basically the opposite of a death spiral. Which is what happened with the collapse of Luna and UST just last month, where one project, it looks a little bit iffy, which would be Luna in particular, because speculative asset starts to go down, but that's what backs UST, the stable coin, and then you lose confidence in one, and then people start questioning the other, and you get this death spiral. Well, this is the opposite. The more adoption you get within the XRP ledger, I think the more interested and excited people will be in investing in XRP itself. And another component is that a lot of the development, in particular regarding massive amounts of tokenization, requires depositing XRP. So for many developers, building on top of the XRP ledger, utilizing XRP will be a requirement. And technically the right term to use is, you have to have, there's an XRP reserve must be held. So when I said depositing XRP, it's effectively the same thing in terms of what I'm trying to communicate here. But look, it's great seeing Ripple continue to be a positive influence on the XRP ecosystem. It's equally exciting to see so many developers recognizing XRP's incredible speed and efficiency. And so look at this headline from the Daily Huddle. Ripple launches innovation challenge for central bank digital currency solutions on the XRP ledger. Look, plenty to unpack, but before going further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, Ripple is launching an innovation challenge aiming to promote the development of XRP ledger applications for central bank digital currencies. So it's worth noting here that Ripple is making a strong push, among the strongest of pushes in the entire crypto space, for the adoption of central bank digital currencies, which, like them or hate them, and I have my own concerns I've expressed on this channel, big picture having to do with central bank digital currencies. Setting that aside, it's an inevitability. It is coming. Actually, there's already at least one that's live off the top of my head. The Bahamas, they already launched a central bank digital currency a while back. If there are others live, that might just be escaping me off the top of my head, but suffice it to say, they're here and they're just going to continue to be further adopted over time. And there are all sorts of countries the world over that are actually actively developing their own central bank digital currencies, or they're looking into the viability of doing so. Most countries actually are on the entire planet, or at a minimum looking into this. And this is excellent because these cryptocurrencies are not going to interoperate with one another by default. These will be separate blockchains. So if you want to convert from one currency to another, you still need an intermediary. And the best intermediary for this type of use case is one that is non-jurisdictional and doesn't have counterparty risk. And XRP is perfectly suited for this, given its technological attributes. Transaction costs fractions of a penny, settles with finality in, on average, a little over 3 seconds, actually. Uses almost no energy. It's effectively carbon neutral, and that's the thing that matters to people and businesses. It's got all the bells and whistles. In terms of what you'd want for a cryptocurrency specifically designed for payments, XRP has it. And so what Ripple's doing here, a big part of this, is they're basically literally running a hackathon here, where they're encouraging developers to come up with all sorts of interesting projects, be creative, and find a way to implement central bank digital currencies, which also shows you how ahead of the curve Ripple is, because, damn it, I think there's only one active central bank digital currency on the planet, And Ripple's just like, okay, now develop a bunch of stuff for it, which I think is awesome. That's not a critique. It just makes me think. The reason I'm saying it like that even is because it makes me think about just how early we are to this space. Even if you're brand new to crypto, don't let anyone fool you, okay? You are not late to the party. You're definitely not. You are incredibly early to the party. It's so rude that you were this early. The host of the party isn't even ready to host you, damn it. Anyway, peace continues. According to the contest page, entrants can submit projects to 3 categories: interoperability, retail-facing, and financial inclusion. According to the contest rules, interoperability projects should involve solutions that help central bank digital currencies bridge with other digital assets, including non-fungible tokens and stablecoins. Now, it's worth noting here that Ripple's been making a strong push for the adoption and development surrounding NFTs. And you may recall that there's the XLS 20 amendment on the XRP ledger, which we're still waiting to see if that passes. But that would provide native functionality on Layer 1 on the XRP ledger for NFTs. Now, technically, you can already launch NFTs. There's just limited functionality compared to, say, Ethereum, which has a whole lot more bells and whistles. But there are trade-offs to having on Layer 1 certain levels of functionality. So it's a balancing act, and you wouldn't want to sacrifice what XRP and the XRP ledger is incredible at, which is a Layer 1 payments protocol, effectively. You don't want to butcher that. You don't want to sacrifice that and then like a faulty attempt to try and be all things to all people. Just there's never going to be a one-size-fits-all. But in the case here, it does seem to be the case that you can have sufficient the technology implement. You can have an upgrade to the XRP ledger Layer 1 that would allow for enough NFT style attributes that are desirable that you could get real adoption here. And so it's do you see how it's all coming together here? Like, who else is even trying to do this? It's rather ambitious, right? And so when they say that the 3 categories for the contest are interoperability, well, that should sound like a no-brainer, because think about it. XRP is a bridge currency right there. Perfect. So now they're saying build apps to do the thing as it relates to central bank digital currencies. And then when you say retail facing, well, yeah, it would be great if we could get end users adopting here. Because, look, it's amazing when you're talking about XRP specifically as a bridge currency within the world of legacy finance. It's pretty amazing that the whole, like a big part of the plan anyway, is that you don't have to worry about onboarding people into crypto at all. That's part of the secret of what Ripple's doing here. It's just XRP would just be used in the plumbing to convert from one fiat currency to another. But you'll be able to convert from NFTs or central bank digital currencies, whatever, in the future. You just need to build the stuff here. And then the third category, financial inclusion. It's kind of interesting that they have that as a separate category, because in my mind, if you achieve the first two, like, if anything, financial inclusion is just this umbrella term over everything else, because you have achieved all the rest of the things that you're shooting for. That is financial inclusion, but it's fine. I'm critiquing, but it's fine. And here's a quote from the Ripple dev page. Digital assets are increasing in importance as the world increasingly moves to Web 3.0. However, interoperability remains a challenge which may impact central bank digital currencies, end quote. Well, that's certainly true. Interoperability is actually one of the biggest problems. Now, set aside the fact that there are about 20,000 cryptocurrencies in existence, and most of them will go the way of the dodo, my favorite extinct avian creature. They will cease to exist at one point. Still, the ones that remain, they need to be able to talk to one another. Peace continues. Entrants submitting retail-facing projects should aim to develop interfaces for humans to interact with central bank digital currencies in a hip and fashionable way, which is, by the way, the least hip thing to do if you want a hip result. Worded as hip and fashionable. Anyway, here's the quote, though. Access to financial institutions for underbanked and unbanked individuals has been a pain point for many in developing nations. Can a central bank digital currency be utilized in an offline environment? How easy will a central bank digital currency be to use for users? How can a central bank digital currency be integrated into different existing financial systems? So, a couple things on this. As far as financial institutions out here, access to financial institutions for underbanked and unbanked individuals, extremely worthy cause, obviously. And we're at a point where this can actually technologically be possible. You can think, what are the reasons that there are so many people on the planet that are not currently banked? And there's myriad reasons, but one of the biggest ones, undoubtedly, it's compared to what we're used to in the first world. I mean, like, like, think about this. There's been a technology leapfrog. Some of you may be familiar with this concept, where like the third world, by and large, never really had landlines. Never had a traditional phone system that we're used to in the first world. You can imagine the amount of expense created to implement such a system. But they kind of leapfrogged that stage, and that was ABEAR. That's what I'm just giving you an example here. It's not like this is the end all be all, but they leapfrogged that particular technology, and you're at a point where Wi-Fi is so accessible in so many corners of the world, and smartphones are so damn cheap. It's not like you have to have the latest iPhone. Given that's the case, you can kind of leapfrog over that. Well, what happens when you have Wi-Fi and a smartphone? You've got access to the sum of like basically all human knowledge, right? Just at your fingertips. Which is also, as a side note, makes it kind of funny that we're capable of getting bored when we have the sum of all human knowledge at our fingertips. But I digress. So given that is indeed the case, though, once you have that technology in your hand, once you have that smartphone, you can access all sorts of stuff that people in the first world country can access. You can have access to cryptocurrencies. You can have access to central bank digital currencies and traditional finance as well. But you need an interface. And so part of what Ripple's clearly trying to do is have people develop and encourage them to do so, including with monetary prizes, building it, but on the XRP ledger specifically on the XRP ledger. This is a big fight right now in terms of what's going to maintain significant adoption within the world of crypto. And then the piece wraps up by stating financial inclusion projects should aim to bring banking services to underserved populations and, quote, enable spending power from traditionally marginalized communities, end quote. The competition includes $47,000 in prizes, and winners receive invites to Ripple's Winners Only event, which has $150,000 in prizes. So the deadline for submissions is August 25th. Now, I'm not a developer, but sometimes I wish I had that particular skill set because it would be fun to do stuff along those lines, but I'm not. If you are, though, you actually can participate. Just hop on over to the website. Here's the URL at the top right here. But this is the dev post from Ripple CBDC Innovate. So we'll see what comes from this. Once we get the results, I'll be happy to share some of that on the Moon Lambo and a brand new hot jam yet to come. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.